It's time for Charting Futures, where we dive into the futures markets through the charts. Today, we're taking a look at the NASDAQ 100. Here's the intraday chart of the NASDAQ 100. And we see earlier today down slightly, now slightly higher, despite the fact that Facebook is down for a third day in a row, shedding more than 10% over that time period. An important question is whether or not the overhang of uncertainty facing the social media giant spreads to the FANG trade as a whole, or even tech more broadly, as occurred in a bit of a knee-jerk reaction on Monday. Let's look first at the technicals on the FANG trades, the FANG stocks, and pull up BTV 9693. This is a one-year chart of the Merrill Lynch FANG index. We see a beautiful uptrend, but we also see that this index has had a tendency to consolidate down toward that uptrend. We see right now the index is well above that uptrend, the FANG stock, suggesting we could see a move back down to consolidate that. And when we can connect this to the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures, this is a year-to-date chart of the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures, and we see lots of volatility, up 10%, down 10%, up 13%, now perhaps setting for a fall. The near-term uptrend has suggested a big decline. That near-term trend being broken suggests a big decline could be ahead, perhaps as Facebook fears do spread to big tech overall. In fact, if we take a look at a chart we showed last week, it has an even more bearish message now. Let's hop back into the Bloomberg and take a look at BTV 2719. So this is the chart of the front month contract on the E-mini futures over the last 6 months. Last year, a beautiful uptrend. This year, here's that volatility we just took a look at. When we looked at this chart last year, the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures right on top, we said if below 7,000, the top of that range, it could be pretty bearish. Right now, we are looking at the possibility of a move all the way down to 6,600 or lower if the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures drops below that last low there around 68.21. That could really be pretty bearish. So how do you trade this bearish chart of the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures and something that's a pretty solid proxy for the FANG trade? According to Dan Russo, chief market strategist at Chaikin Analytics, who was concerned by the NASDAQ's most recent record high that was unconfirmed by the other major averages, he would suggest selling the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures. Here's the description page. We see that a 1-point move is worth $20. We also see that the initial margin on one contract is about $6,400. And so if there could be a drop of more than 200 points, as those charts did point to, that would be worth about $4,000 or so on just one contract. That's the power of leverage at work in the futures markets. And that's a look at big tech's technicals and one way to trade the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures in Charting Futures.